Equinoxe Télévision, au-delà de l'image, nous rendons compte.
Hello, thanks for joining us on this edition of the 6 p.m. time newscast on Equinoxe Television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. I am Babla Jonathan. In our top stories in this edition of the news, Cameroon's Minister of Territorial Administration, Tanganji Paul, restricts the sale and purchase of machetes and other iron equipments in the northwest and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon. Those willing or wishing to purchase such equipments henceforth will need authorization from the divisional officer of their areas of residence, and this is contained in an administrative order signed by the Minister of Administration. Tanganji Paul, and out of the country, a coup d'etat attempt is on the way in Mali, and the military, supported by the population, are struggling to overthrow President Boubacar Keita and his government. Details coming up next. Thanks, dear viewers, for joining us on this edition of the news. We're going to begin right away in the crisis-hit southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, where security and defense forces have intensified the search for some individuals who are said to have attacked bears, burning it down, a public transport bears, and the vehicle of a gendarme officer in that part of the country. These are some of the recent incidents recorded within the context of the 4-year-long armed conflict hitting the northwest and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon. The Maimo report.
Is one of the vehicles that actually was put ablaze by unidentified men. We are having information that what actually happened is a work of separatists. They are struggling to instill fear within the people as far as Limbe and Fako division is concerned. Monday the 17th of August 2020 at about 1 p.m. two vehicles and a motorbike set ablaze around Camp 7 Limbe Mutengene stretch by suspected separatist fighters. Eyewitness account holds that the suspected separatist fighters placed a bike on the road with one person lying on the tarmac and two others standing by the roadside, an indication that an accident has occurred. The scene lured the driver of the first vehicle, a Toyota Starlet private car, who slowed down to offer assistance, falling into their trap. The same scenario was replicated that led of a Toyota Picnic clandestine vehicle en route to Douala, equally falling into their trap. Sources say the suspected separatists were interested in abducting the drivers on grounds of violating the traditional Monday's ghost town. The occupant of the Toyota Starlet, alleged to be a gendarmerie officer, is said to have been taken to a nearby bush, while the driver of the clandestine vehicle successfully managed to escape after sustaining bruises on the leg as he mingled with the rest of the passengers who were asked by the gunmen to run for their life, fleeing to Camp 7, a CDC camp located within the area. The incident halted circulation of vehicles within the stretch of road. Fence and security forces arriving the scene 15 minutes after the suspected separatist fighters have all disappeared into nearby bushes. Every effort from the different unit of the defense and security forces made up of the B from Manawa Bay, the amphibious battalion from Tiko, and the Marines from Isongo, including the National Gendarmerie, to fish out the gunmen combing the entire nearby bushes, was fruitless. A swap patrol between elements of the defense and security forces from Tiko and Limbe have been intensified along the stretch of road, with intelligence gathering ongoing to track down the gang. Since this incident occurred, the military, the defense and security forces have been combing the entire area, making sure that they continue maintaining peace and order within this area. I'm Davidson Maimo for Equinoxe Television, live along the Mutengene.
And condemnation continue rising to the sky from almost all quarters with regards to the recent killing of a woman in the crisis-hit southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, and the government continues sending comfort to the family of the young woman. Today, the Chief of Cabinet at the Prime Ministry was there to comfort the family of the deceased.
The Prime Minister's office visit the bereaved family. He is sent by Cameroon Prime Minister and Head of Government, Chief Dr. Joseph John Gute, with a condolence message, especially to the mother of Tumasan, who was murdered last August 10, 2020, by separatist fighters.
Today, Prime Minister to say no, make it send me.
Tumasan, who was murdered last August 10, 2020, by separatist fighters.
Today, Prime Minister to say no, make it send me.
I have been sent by Cameroon Prime Minister and Head of Government to condole with you, the PM's envoy, to the bereaved mother, in pidgin language. I have been sent by Cameroon Prime Minister and Head of Government to condole with you, the PM's envoy, to the bereaved mother, in pidgin language. The Prime Minister was touched when he saw how your daughter was being murdered. Her death shook the world, he added.
Government don't always do for CC, this problem come to an end.
And the government is working hard. The crisis that took the life of her daughter is still on. And this subdivision called Moyoka in the southwest region seemed to be the epicenter. The security situation here is still very tense.
And some in the DDR centers to make their life better. Instead of doing what we saw, it has received widespread condemnation. We also need to see this opportunity to call on our population to be more vigilant.
The two children of her late daughter are no longer living with her. The family took them somewhere, at least for the day alive, and one day be able to tell the story of a war that separated their mother from them forever.
And the government continues struggling to put an end to the atrocities being committed in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. The Minister of Territorial Administration of the Republic of Cameroon at Tanganji has imposed some restrictions on the sale and purchase of machetes, axes and iron rods in the two English-speaking regions, and in an administrative order to the governors of the regions, he says every person wishing to buy the aforementioned equipment must obtain an authorization from the divisional officer of his or area of residence and must present to the seller a national identity card, telephone number, house location and other identification papers, and farmers must present proofs that they have a plantation, and those buying rods the seller a national identity card, telephone number, house location and other identification papers, and farmers must present proofs that they have a plantation, and those buying rods for southwest regions of the country. Henceforth, the purchase of machetes has been restricted in order to put an end or limit the atrocities committed with the aid of these items. And of course, the Minister of Territorial Administration at Tanganji Paul says that all defaulters will be sanctioned. All defaulters will not only be sanctioned, but will be considered as suspects and potential terrorists. And we talked to a legal mind, Barrister Kamwa Limen, president of the Kamwa Limen law firm. And this is what he had to say concerning this. Terrorists. And we talked to a legal mind, Barrister Kamwa Limen, president of the Kamwa Limen law firm, and this is what he had to say concerning this.
Okay, Mr. Babila, I have gone through the order, the ministerial order from the Territorial Administration, and the very first thing I want us to accept is that the government has a responsibility to protect. You understand, there is a theory in international law called triple pronged theory in human rights law, which creates a triple obligation on every government to protect its citizens. And therefore, the government is in place to protect the people in the northwest and the southwest regions of Cameroon, whom we all agree are victims of those acts as in the order. Now, if you want to know if the minister acted ultra vires, I think he did not act ultra vires. He acted within his powers. But what the substance of the order is a problem. The implementation of such an order. You see, how do you restrict people from building their houses? Because if you go through, you see that it says those who have, they can only sell those iron rods to people who have building permits, and that people without building permit are considered as suspects, right, perpetrating such act. It is wrong. It is wrong. The people in those areas, there are villages that you don't need a permit to build a house. So those people will not build houses because they need an authorization. Then you go further by saying that if they need a cutlasses or machetes, they should go and actually they should apply and do what it is. To me, its applicability is wanting. It is going to create more violation than what he seeks to redress. If they don't comply, what happens? It means that they have violated an order. Are you getting an order? Now, taking superiority of laws, this is just an order from a minister. People have the right to build their houses, which is an international right. It's human right. They have the right to build. They need to buy batches and go to farm. It is a right. So if government thinks that in doing this, they are stopping those, what happens to those people who have the machete already? Are they going to start entering houses that they want to seize machetes in the houses of people? It is wrong. So
the division of officers almost everywhere.
It doesn't make sense.
It also talks about proofs.
And so, in my humble opinion, he should say it's a piece of nonsense. He should withdraw it, and then the government, the prime minister, should see into it that this thing honestly is being withdrawn, because of those people to a point that even to go to farm, you need to go and apply, get an authorization to be able to buy machetes.
Lehman is raising concerns the implementation of such a decision and its capacity to yield the desired fruits, that of reducing or why not putting an end to the atrocities being committed.
To a point that even to go to farm, you need to go and apply, get an authorization to be able to buy machetes.
Lehman is raising concerns the implementation of such a decision and its capacity to yield the desired fruits, that of reducing or why not putting an end to the atrocities being committed.
To a point that even to go to farm, you need to go and apply, get an authorization to be able to buy machetes.
Lehman is raising concerns the implementation of such a decision and its capacity to yield the desired fruits, that of reducing or why not putting an end to the atrocities being committed.
To a point that even to go to farm, of issues in the country, the government being the person in charge of protection of the population, the government capable all through Cameroon, all through Cameroon, all through the territory. Because when one such precautious measure, because it is not a preventive decision, has been transformed by some people, and some sort of precaution that the government is taking to control those who carry such utensils like cutlasses and such iron rods. Normally, to build a house in Cameroon, you need a building permit to justify, or a building permit authorized by the mayor or the authorities of the area for you to build. Laws are made by men, yes. Laws are still respected by men, yes. But we know that some people will decide to go against the rules put in the society to control societal behavior. Measures. It is not it's some sort of precaution that the government is taking to control those who carry such
utensils like cutlasses and soda by iron rods. Normally, to build a house in Cameroon, you need a building permit to justify, or a building permit authorized by the mayor or the authorities of the area for you to build. Laws are made by men, yes. Laws are still respected by men, yes. Going out to buy a cutlass